one is the Crowder Golf contract. And Darren, you want to talk a little bit about that and introduce our guests that are with us today?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Good morning. As you recall, on September 1, we held a special session where we enacted our debris management contract with Crowder Golf. At that point in time, they started convening and calling in resources as they could get them. One of the things that I want to point out before we get too far into it is that everyone knows how significant Hurricane Harvey was to Montgomery County. What we sometimes lose sight of is how significant it was to the state of Texas. All told, some 36,261 square miles of our state were affected by Hurricane Harvey at one time. In addition to that, you have Hurricane Irma, who hit Florida, which is drastically tapping the resources that are available to help us in the management of our debris and debris pickup. So that being said, things have moved a little slow in getting some trucks in, but we're making some changes to our plan, to our debris management plan. We had a meeting last night that went to about 9 o'clock where we revamped what we were doing, reorganized, and I think we're making it a strong step forward. I'd like to bring up at this time representatives from Crowder, Lyman Ramsey and Brian, who can kind of tell you a little bit about what our plan is moving forward.
Good morning. I'm Lyman Ramsey, Vice President with Crowder Golf. Our family owns the business. I came out last week to see what was going on, and by Thursday I was very disappointed, and I made a decision that we were going to bring company assets of our own people who we knew would be here. I've never seen the level of greed and deceit and lies that have been told in the last week in this state by people. But we're making a change. We have more trucks running today than we did yesterday in every precinct, and our focus is to continue to bring the people to the table that will get it done. With the change in the plans that Darren has made, because of the long haul, I don't want to talk about reasons that things haven't worked. I'm going to tell you about what's going to work now. With the plans you've made for the temporary sites, people are rushing to the job. I'm taking locals first that can show up first. I've Mr. John Manfrey, a local contractor that's information was forwarded to me yesterday. He will be meeting me right after this meeting. He's a gentleman that speaks just like I speak, and I want to put him to work as soon as possible. Another local resource will be starting, we hope, tomorrow. Brian has been coordinating with some others, and I have my own people, own operators, and own people coming in here to make sure that we live up to the contract we have with you, and I cannot apologize enough. I understand everybody's frustration. I'm as embarrassed and disappointed with it as I could be, and it has my family's name on it, and I'm here until it's done. There's going to be ups and downs every day, I promise you. I don't want to tell you I have this many trucks coming today or that many tomorrow, because we're moving a lot of people with the way we change the scope of this project and the way we do things. There's resources that can come in and be very effective with removal. That's what we're doing. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Brian has the specifics. Brian's our senior project manager for this different projects in these areas. He was brought in yesterday and has made great progress in organizing ourselves. And fire away.
Were you able to get that second site in Precinct 4, Commissioner, set up?
Just awaiting your signature with it. It is approved.
It's on here today?
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
How has the plan changed from when we started to what we're fixing to do right now? How's the plan changed?
We went from a 30-mile haul. Tell me if I'm wrong. What was the furthest haul we had?
That's correct. What we did is, instead of everything going to the security landfill, we're starting to utilize the sites that a lot of the community is already using to store this debris. That way we can get a lot of the debris off the roads faster. Obviously, if a truck can go less miles, they can get more loads per day. We're working 7 days a week, sun up to sundown, but we're looking to do 3 sites at this point. That should significantly improve the numbers and the progress in each neighborhood. On top of doing that, we're adding as many assets as we can. So any locals, anybody that y'all know that would be interested, I know I spoke to a few of y'all outside already. We'll see about getting you hired and set up. We're open to utilize any of you. Y'all have a vested interest in this community. Y'all know these roads better than anybody, and the neighborhoods and the impacted areas, honestly, it's in our benefit to use y'all, and we're happy to do that. And, having the site set up to get the debris off the roads quicker and then adding more assets to get more debris off. That's our goal. Right now, we have a presence in every precinct, and we're going to add to those as we bring in these resources. There is a little bit more than just jumping in and going to work. The priorities is human safety and health, but typically the second priority is the funding. So we have to do all this in accordance with all the FEMA procedures and policies. So we're teamed up with a company here that's also contracted with the county, Tetra Tech, and they monitor and document everything we do. So there's a few other steps than just jumping out in the streets and working, but we're happy to educate you on that and work with you as much as possible.
At least a 40-yard trail.
Well, I think one of the decisions you made sounds like it's really going to speed it up, is to take it to the sites.
Yes, sir.
Because
You will see.
I understand the haul. It's a long way, especially in my precinct.
And
South County, it's hard to get there. It's hard to get back. I think it's going to really speed it up to use the sites, get it off the street, and then we can deal with it at that time. But I think that's a good idea.
Yes, sir. And I should add that this is a volume-based industry. We're performance, contractors. If we don't perform, then we're not doing our job. None of us are hourly. We don't get paid to hang out and not work. We are performance-based, and the harder we work and the harder that our crews work, the more productive we are for you, and the more advantageous it is for any locals that join in our team. So having that shorter distance also makes it more beneficial to the crews and the trucks, where they can produce more volume and in turn generate higher revenue.
And we're totally reshifting our people from. There's a total new set of equipment that can be very, very effective, and that's what we're bringing in here. We're stressing to anybody that wants to work the ideal container that they transport the debris from the right-of-way to the dump site. Try to be as close to 40 cubic yards as possible. That's what we're telling everybody, and they anybody tell that they understand it because of a productivity point, turning so many loads an hour.
Bigger the better,
Yeah.
obviously, more volume.
Once you get it to the site, you're crushing it at that point then, aren't you, and then taking it to the landfill from there?
Yes, sir.
Much more
The
capacity.
benefit of the site is getting off quick. And when it's at that site, obviously the residents aren't worried about that specific site. But I should also add that any equipment you utilize to load these vehicles, these trucks or these dump trailers that you have, it's good to be rubber tracked or rubber tire loader. A lot of people have a lot of steel tracked equipment, and that will destroy the roads. And obviously we're responsible for that damage. So, rubber tire equipment or rubber tracks is preferred.
Can you give us a little better idea of when we're going to see more trucks in activity? I have one truck from your company in Precinct 3, and that clearly is underperforming your contract.
Yes, sir.
And the patience of this community is being tested. My men have been working 7 to 7, and women, for how many weeks now? Doing your job. And that's really frustrating. So I want to know when you're going to bring assets and deploy them in this community. No more talking. When are you
Right.
going to do it?
Right. And we don't want to make false promises, obviously, which may or may not have happened. There's been a few things.
Now. That's it, now. I don't want to get specifics of numbers and this and that, but I'm doing it now. That's the answer. I'm heading out to the dump site, stay there until I make sure trucks are coming myself.
So should the commissioners contact Brian for priorities where they need the
Brian,
trucks when they
yeah.
get here and assets in place?
Absolutely. But Darren has a Texas line of mine that I've established that I would prefer for any client of ours that's an actual stakeholder to call me on that phone. I will share that with Darren. If anybody has a question, they just call that phone or text. Just, if you can't get me, please just put a text on it, who you are, and I will return it. My other phone is, blowing up from people who wouldn't work for us that are wanting to come and work that I'm just not going to talk to them. If they wouldn't
Darren, are
agree
you
to
going
do
to coordinate getting these guys into these private subdivisions, or how do we do that?
So currently, Commissioner, FEMA does not allow us to enter into gated communities or take care of private roads. It is my understanding that we will see guidance within the next 24 to 48 hours changing that stance,
Okay.
but we haven't seen it yet. Once that occurs, then we can push out some interlocals with each of those areas. hold harmless contracts, and then we can get the crews into those areas as well.
So as of right now, we're not going into private.
That's
digging,
correct.
so to
That's
speak.
correct.
Darren, I've got a temporary site over in Wood Forest that I'm ready to get picked up now.
Yes, sir.
Whatever's left in Wood Forest, I can deal with, but I need that site picked up.
That's correct. That site was identified last night, and our office will continue to meet with the contractor every day to ensure that we have ample trucks going out to all points of the county. And then I think each of you have established a point of contact that their lead guys on the grounds will be contacting and discussing your hot spots, and that's where the direct activity. So we're going to try and do an overall management, and then we're going to let your guys and these guys do the actual tactical operation, so to speak, on the ground and get that stuff picked up.
And Darren, again, so Crowder will pick up at we'll have 3 sites in Precinct 3, and they will end up picking up from all 3 of those sites at the end.
That's correct.
And you do have some gentlemen that are already hauling away the debris that we have placed ourselves. So you have 1 truck out in the community, and then you have another truck taking the debris that we picked up to the landfill. And while we're talking about debris pickup, Mike, Commissioner Meadow, I want to thank you and Precinct 1 so much. They sent a dump truck, 3 dump trucks, a great all, and 6 men down to Precinct 3 Saturday and Sunday to help get us cleaned up. And that's a
No problem.
heartfelt.
Glad to help.
One other thing, at the 242 and 1314 site, we're not limited to that footprint. That TxDOT, we can open that up. So I know that's going to be a kind of a primary site. It's going to be a good dump off point. If we need that, just let me know and I'll get with TxDOT. We'll expand that site.
Yes, sir.
Was that one you were able to locate close enough to River Plantation, or are you going to use the sites in River
That site
Plantation?
is
It's a good one.
the size right now is
It cuts
very
the
adequate.
turnaround in half.
Half, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great site.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioners?
I'm ready.
Yeah, glad to see you guys.
I'm glad to be here.
Ramsey, thank you.
Can I go to work?
Go to work.
Please.
Go to work. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Darren, while you're there, why don't we go ahead and run through the rest of our stuff on emergency management here?
I just have one more thing in regards to debris management, if I can, Judge. I have, as part of our overall plan, we do need to make some adjustment to our current contract with Crowder, and so we're making a slight modification to that pricing schedule, both per cubic yard and as far as the DMS sites, the management of those DMS sites. I need you guys to approve. And then we're also going to make a change to another contract that we currently have with the county for roll-offs through Sprint Waste Services that will allow us to utilize those services if the commissioners wish to utilize
For
those
sure.
services. Those rates are slightly increased, but, I mean, they're set for disaster debris now, so.
And we've got FEMA approval to fund.
We have
those-
FEMA approval
all those
on
costs.
both of those rate adjustments, that's correct.
Darren, can you, I don't know that everyone understands the issue that we've had with securing trucks and the really bidding war that opened up because of our friends down south that decided to pay almost twice as much as we were paying. So there are counties down south that have several hundred trucks picking up debris because they're being paid twice as much as our contract was for. And that's part of the greed and deceit that Crowder was mentioning earlier is every day I'd be told, I've got 6 trucks coming. Well, by the time they got down to South County, they could drive across the county line and make twice as much per load.
That's correct. We have actually certified several trucks and put them out into the precincts and have them show up on site and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go south. And so, I mean, that has been a huge stumbling block for us in our operations up here.
And I'd much rather hold our rates as close as we can and not have to have a 9% tax increase to take care of our community.
Absolutely.
That's correct. That's correct. We've actually kept them low enough now that FEMA looked at them and said that's fine and we can run with what we're going. There wasn't any pushback at all from them. So.
Good work, Darren. Okay,
Darren,
so
thanks
do you
for all
need a
your good work.
resolution in order, Amy, to approve those contracts, or is that something that Gilbert can do?
Go ahead, yes, go ahead and approve what Darren's asking.
And Commissioners would entertain a motion to approve the Crowder Gulf increase and the Sprint contract as well.
Absolutely. And Sprint's been willing to work. I'm glad they've worked this out. They're a fairly new vendor to the county. And if they can bring those dumpsters in, get them set up, just the quicker we can get this hauled off.
Yep.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Amy, as far as extending the disaster declaration, we're good until our next Commissioners Court meeting
Right,
now,
we're,
so we're
yes, we did it